Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Sorry, I got this light shining on me, and I'm sweating a little bit. My glasses are fogging up. Um,
A hot flash, so it's all good.
nice. Yeah, I was a little concerned actually about doing this because I wanted to have you on for a little while, but it was like like am I just making am I like exploiting like a fucking really personal thing for someone for you know
No, I'm gonna exploit myself after this anyway, so it's completely fine.
nice.
We spoke of distrust.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Human Interaction Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton, and today I have a very special guest with me, an internet friend who I don't think we've ever actually said words to each other, which is
I
kind of
Yeah, I
cool.
don't, which is weird. It's been like 7 years or something like that. So
Yeah, it has been that long. Okay, so it's not weird that I feel like I've known you for like an extended period of time.
no, no,
All right, cool. I thought maybe I was just crazy.
no.
Uh, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, listeners, please welcome to the cast Ciarra Nicole Johnston. I don't know if you prefer the middle name or not, but
Doesn't matter
that's
to me.
that's how I introduced you. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so welcome to the cast. Thank you for joining us today. Um, we're going to talk about something that might be a little sensitive for some people, but it's something that Sierra's currently experiencing and that a lot of people experience. So, if you're easily triggered or anything like that, obviously, why are you even listening to this podcast? Because it's me. Uh, but yeah, Sierra is currently experiencing you're fighting cancer, right?
Yep.
Um, I'm sorry, repeat that.
Oh, is it unfortunately so?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very unfortunate. And kind of a rare situation because you're so young. I mean, you're not, like my mother went through it too, but she was in her 60s. And it seems like you had a kind of a diagnosis that was more on the rare side.
Yeah, definitely. Being 30, well, I was 30 at diagnosis, and it happened to be the most aggressive kind as well, which is common in people who are under 40. So,
Okay. Was there any like did they like catch it early? Like, did that give you like better options to work with?
yeah, more or less. They caught it. I don't know how it works. Even going through it, I don't know exactly what the risk factors are or anything like that. But they caught it early enough to where it wasn't incurable. So it's stage 2, which isn't great, but it's not the worst either. So
Right. Okay. That's you know, first of all, sorry that that happened. That really sucks. And I know it's not like saying sorry doesn't do anything to help you, but um, it's been interesting. I don't know if interesting is the right word either, but it's been interesting to see how you're handling it through, your online posts and things like that. You've been writing a blog too, right? So it's just it's interesting to see someone who's so willing to share something so personal with people. I really commend you and admire you
I
for
think
doing that. Yeah.
I didn't know how else to handle it, to be completely honest. Like, what am I going to do? Just sit there and feel sorry for myself? I mean, I do that, but
Right.
I would rather, sort of be open and as not nonchalant, that's not the right word, but as candid as possible for someone who may have to go through it, years from now, hopefully. So it makes it easier for me and hopefully for someone else one day too. So
That's awesome. That's a great way to think. That's a great way to like approach life, approach anything you're going through, I think.
yeah, I think so too. I'm definitely trying. So
So obviously that's not a an easy situation to remain positive in. Like you said, you do feel sorry for yourself a little bit, which is only natural when you're going through something like that. So like what do you do to stay positive, I know my mom had a good sense of humor about it, and you seem to also. Is that important to you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't decide from the beginning that's how I was going to approach it, but I think it just kind of came natural because it's a bizarre situation to be in. It's really surreal, especially like you were saying, so young. Um, you're technically in the prime of your life one day, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm in menopause now because of the hormone shut and all that. So, you don't expect it, but it's bizarre, it's surreal, and I have to make fun of myself sometimes for it because what else am I going to do?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
it really is, but some people don't quite understand that side of it, and that makes for an awkward situation. But for the most part, I'm just trying to have fun while I can. So
awesome. Yeah, I was thinking before we started this, like, hopefully this isn't just like a huge bummer episode. And then I realized, like, oh, I'm hoping to get some laughs out of cancer. That's fucking great.
and I think that we should.
Yeah.
There's such a distinction too from what I've noticed, just kind of talking to people online that are my age. We're all really funny.
Yeah.
Like everyone who's going through this at a young age is fucking hilarious, and you have to be.
That's all. So you have like a good support network then that you found, like outside of your boyfriend you're living with him and he's been kind of helping you out, taking care of you, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Sorry,
So
go
there's
ahead.
a network of people that are, especially on Instagram, that are really, really cool. That we all help each other out and give advice, and so it's really fortunate for this to happen this year, if that makes any sense.
No, that absolutely makes sense. It's kind of the opposite of what I did with this podcast. When you have the online community to reach out to, and now everybody's home. No one's spending 8 hours a day at work, or some people are, but people are generally at home quarantining, whatever. So people have more time to kind of interact with people in situations where they normally wouldn't.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and it's been super helpful. That's one good thing about this year. So
The one good thing about this year, like the only good thing about this year. uh, and so how long ago did you receive your diagnosis?
July 13th of this year.
Okay, that's not very long ago.
No, no, no. We're coming up on 6 months, and yeah, so it's only been about half a year, and you take some time to process it. At first, I was not okay, but after I had surgery, it got a lot easier once treatment started and there was a plan. So
Yeah, you kind of saw like the end game.
exactly, exactly. So, but yeah, July 13th.
Wow. And you had pretty aggressive chemotherapy regimen, right?
Yeah, so I just finished the end, the worst of it. So there's they call it the Red Devil. It's two drugs that I cannot pronounce. I'm not even gonna try. And it's the most aggressive type you can get. I've reached my lifetime maximum, which is kind of badass actually.
Right.
And on Tuesday I started a much gentler thing for 12 weeks. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, then it's somewhat similar to what my mom went through. I think she was in chemo for like a year, actually. Um, but I also it might have been like kind of like you're doing, like she did like a really aggressive, and then they kind of did the easier stuff later on.
Do you know what type she had?
I didn't even know there were types. That's why one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because I reading your posts in your blog, it's like, oh, there's more to it than just you got cancer. It's like, no, you have
Yeah,
this type of cancer. And
yeah,
so yeah,
weird.
explain a little bit what you can. I know you're not a doctor, and there's a lot of information out there, even if you are dealing with it. Um, but explain your specific case, if you can.
So yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't know that there were different types either. I mean, honestly, like between diagnosis and even now, it's like our diagnosis, the first month was just a bunch of cramming, you know, studying for a class that I didn't like,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so what I have is triple negative breast cancer. And that means that it's like 10% of all breast cancer, which is which is why it's rare. And it means that there's no hormone receptors. So some breast cancer is fueled by, like estrogen or whatever, but this has nothing.
Mm.
Another protein called HER2, and I have none of that either. So it means it's extremely aggressive, and it's also the hardest to treat. But there are other people that have hormone positive, which means they can be put on hormone blockers after they finish treatment, and they have more options for treatment. But triple negative has only been approved this year for treatment after you finish chemo and radiation. So it's still not much is known about it still, even to this day. So, but yeah, it's getting better, I think, by the year. So that's good.
Yeah, you would hope that as we progress into the future, we'll learn more about all of these diseases that we face and be able to deal with them a little bit more. So hearing a diagnosis like that has to be fucking terrifying, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I expected it, honestly. Like after going through all the tests and everything, I was like, there's no way it's nothing else, you know? You know yourself more than you realize, if that makes any sense. And there was nothing else it could have been. I've known myself for the last 31 years, and something was just not right. So I expected it.
okay.
But, at the time we thought I had estrogen positive. So I was like, okay, that's awesome, cool. We can go through a surgery and we'll be fine. We can go on hormone blockers, no problem. And then surgery came around and they were like, oh shit, actually it's triple negative. So I went 2 months thinking it was one thing, and then had to come with a second diagnosis of something completely different. And hearing it's the most aggressive is like, all right, you know. But there are a lot of really good stories too. Like, there are some women that are 5, 10, 15 years out of their diagnosis for triple negative, and they're doing fine. So I'm looking at that.
Right. Yeah. You and I mean, medicine has come a long way in dealing with cancer.
Exactly.
Because yeah, well, and I remember the day I got the call from my mom when she let me know, and it was it was difficult for me to deal with, just hearing that someone I love was going through that, was gonna have to deal with that. So like I can't even imagine what it would be like hearing that for yourself. Like it's gotta I again, like I don't want to keep saying this the entire episode, but like I really admire how strong you're really like holding up well. So it's very admirable.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But to be honest, I keep telling everyone that I know, I'm like, I'm glad it's me. And this sounds like a complete like bullshit thing to say, but I truly believe it. Like I truly think this. Like if it was my boyfriend or my mom that had the I don't know what I would do. Like I can at least know how I can control my own emotions, but if it was someone else, I'd be completely freaking out even more than I have been. So I can imagine what that was like for you to hear about your mom too. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was rough, especially because like both of my grandmothers died of cancer too, different kinds. But yeah, and my dad's dad had Alzheimer's, so it's just like it kind of you face your own mortality, even just hearing about someone else in your family dealing with it, because it's like, well, geez, everybody has, and hers was genetic, which means I probably have a gene for cancer as well. I haven't gone to the doctor to get that checked because I don't want to know.
No,
But yeah.
yeah, like like my doctor wants to do like all the tests for all the cancer on me after I'm done, and I'm like, do we have to? Like, no.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've had a million tests run on you already, so it's like, do we really need to do more?
Yeah, exactly. It's been fun. So
You feel like a lab rat.
exactly. But
Hey, whatever it takes to get better, right?
I guess so. But yeah.
So
Yeah, no one.
another, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go.
Oh, family has had cancer. It's just a fluke here. So
Really? Oh, fuck you, God, Jesus.
especially this year. God damn it.
Yeah. So you have your head wrap on today. I guess I don't know if that's the term for it, but I'm
Sure.
not very fashion forward. Uh, but you've also you kind of been playing around. I've seen you do some photo shoots with different wigs and things like that. Just kind of trying to have fun, as much fun as you can with it.
Mhm.
Um, when when did you kind of just accept, like, all right, this the hair is falling out, like, just don't try to hold on, because like I remember my mom's moment. She's at the beach with a bunch of her girlfriends, and she like came out of the water and went to like brush her hair, and it was just like
Like
coming out.
seaweed. God.
Yeah, just like coming out in clumps. And that's when like she got home that week, my dad shaved her head for her. It was like she was just like, all right, well, and she just went bald the whole time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
respect people who can do that. I haven't gone out bald in public yet. I can't do it. Um, but I came to like it. I accepted it pretty early on. Like I think you probably remember because before I started chemo, like about a month and a half before I started, I was like, fuck it. I don't want to like see my long hair falling out, so I just shaved it down to a pixie and just waited for it to come out. And yeah, so it fairly early on, I was like, well, this is going to happen, so I might as well just take control now and get used to my head. So, and yeah, I don't like wigs or anything like that. I look like this more than like 90% of the time. So
You just look like you're going to work.
yeah,
You got some housework to do or something. I don't know. Like
exactly.
not.
Yeah, and I've learned I'm basically a catfish right now too. So, like my eyebrows are fake, my eyelashes are fake. So I'm not being very now, but
Oh man, basically a catfish.
yeah,
That's
catfish boyfriend is fun. So
that's great. Oh man, wow, that was all the questions I had written down already. Uh,
I could just keep talking. No,
no, please do. I'm having, like I said, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so like I am not on top of my game right now. I'm
neither am I.
rarely on top of my game when I actually sit down to record an episode of this. So I should probably get better at that. But
What's one?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was, oh man, we're on a delay, aren't we?
No,
The
I think I'm just interrupting you. It's fine. I apologize to your audience.
Oh yeah, my all 5 listeners.
Hey, that's enough people to apologize to. That's kind of anyway, so it's nothing new.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not on top of my game, and I was like, I debated postponing, but then it was
Mhm.
like, wow, what kind of lame thing, like, I'm just feeling tired today. Like, I know you're going through chemo and stuff, but I'm tired today, so can we just like postpone a little bit? I don't know. Felt like I would be I don't know, flaking out, and I didn't want to
No,
do that.
I mean I'm exhausted all the time, so it's okay. Like there's
Yeah, but that
a lingering fatigue. So and like I tell everybody, it's not the suffering Olympics. Like if you're not feeling well, that's fine. So
Man, that's a novel approach in 2020 also. It's not the suffering Olympics, because that seems to be what we're going through right now.
yeah, it's interesting the way that this, the way that it happened right in the middle of a pandemic too was a very interesting, a very interesting thing. Like you go through everything by yourself now, and in a way, I'm kind of grateful for that because it makes you face it even more head on, if that makes any sense. Like going into surgery by myself and going into every single chemo appointment by myself, whereas last year or the year before, you see pictures on Instagram of people's like entire families with them, so people are like, oh, that must be so hard. And yeah, but I don't know any different. So,
Yeah.
I don't know any different.
That's
And
got to be like, so like, because of the pandemic, there's like so many more restrictions and stuff.
mhm.
I mean, and obviously that puts you at you're in the high risk category now. Same as my mom, even though she's 2 years removed from her last from when she got to ring the bell. That's a thing, right?
Good for
Right.
her. Yeah. Someone
Yeah.
rang the bell, which was awesome. So,
Did you say you rang the bell after your first?
someone in the room, and there was another lady who was on her last chemo, and the entire staff came in and had her ring the bell and sang a song for her. It was really cool to see like your first time there. So anyway.
Yeah. No. It's you. You were not interrupting. Don't worry. You're the guest. You're the guest of honor. So the more you talk, the better. People hear me all the time on here. So
But yeah, mom was 2 years out. That's huge. That's awesome.
yeah. And I mean, I didn't really, I wasn't living at home anymore when she was like going through it. So it was really like, Sundays kind of became the day where I would like go have dinner, but that was her third day after, which is usually like really bad. I understand, or like a few days after, it's usually worse than like right after you have the treatment.
Yeah, because the steroids. So
Because what was that?
the steroids wear off.
Mm,
So
okay, that makes sense.
yeah, so third day is usually bad. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, and it would be like she was so still a mom like all the time when I was there. So like I would go over and she would be on the couch, dealing with what she's dealing with, and um I'd go in and say hi to her, and she'd be like, "Oh, do you want me to like make you a sandwich or something?" I'm like, "No, mom." Stop. Like she still tried to like be a mom uh to me the entire time, and it's like I don't need, I can make my own sandwich. Do you want a sandwich? Do you need anything? Because she, her skin was jaundiced and everything, and it's like it's tough to see someone um literally being incapacitated by something that's supposed to be helping them, and then to have them still be like, "Hey, what do you need me to do for you? What can I do for you?" And it's like, you can lay there and fucking recover, mom.
Yeah. Yeah, my boyfriend's mom went through it too, and same thing. He was saying that she was always like trying to still be the mom to him when he would talk to her. So yeah, that's got to be. I'm glad I don't have kids. I just off.
No one heard that, don't worry. The
Yeah, I actually before you'd sent me a video of um stand up that you had done when your mom had cancer, and I watched that again. About like an hour before I joined the meeting, and um I again, that was really funny too, because that's why you have to get the last for cancer, because you were like, oh, a breast reduction, technically it's a mastectomy, but and that made me laugh really hard. So
awesome.
did did you show that to her? Did she know? Okay.
Yeah, because it was like that night, actually that was for a comedy competition, and it had not been long since she called me and let me know, and I literally, that was the first night that I did it on stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I tend to do that for the times you're not supposed to do that.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was just it was something that was really on my mind at the time, and it was like, well, I've got to get it out. And then it got a decent reaction, as good a reaction as you're going to get if you don't have like an actual following for a joke like that. And then I was like, well, I'm going to keep talking about that on stage. And I was like, well, if I'm going to keep doing that, then I need to show her that, like, she needs to know that like I'm talking about her on stage, because if she doesn't want me to, if she doesn't like it, then I'm not going to.
Exactly.
But yeah, her response was 3 laughing emojis and good one. So it's like,
I, I like that.
yeah. Because she really tried to, she took kind of the same attitude that you're taking to it. It's sulking and being a gloomy Gus about it isn't going to do anything for you.
No,
And some people would argue that a positive attitude in itself is a great weapon against anything. So
Yeah, and I don't ever want it to come off as disingenuous either. And like people are like, "Well, you can't be that positive." I'm like, "I'm not necessarily positive. It's just like realistic, you know." But also, I guess just seeing it in a way that doesn't depress other people too, which helps not depress me too, if that makes any sense. So,
No, that makes perfect sense. Um, I do the same thing with, mental health, things like that. Like I talk about that. So hopefully it's like you take a little bit of power away from it if you can laugh at it.
ex- yeah, exactly it. And as I'm sure you probably found out, people don't always get that, and that's what makes things really awkward sometimes, because you end up having to apologize to them for your affliction, you know?
Yeah. And it's also like, I'm the one dealing with this guy. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, when you have cancer, you can deal with it however you want. This is how I'm going to deal with it.
Exactly. And whether that's going to be comparing myself to Nosferatu or, you know, it works, so it's great.
I'm sorry. That's if I picture you with the claws and everything. You
Oh, yeah,
missed your Halloween costume.
I really did. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job as Death from Bill and Ted, but yeah.
I missed those Instagram pictures.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and check them out.
they're pretty good.
Nice. So, yeah. So when you get a favorite from me from 3 months ago, don't be skeeved out. It's just
No,
me
definitely.
going. um, so something else I mentioned, I believe I asked you on an Instagram post at one point. Did you have any like specific food cravings or anything like that? Because multiple people that I know that went through chemo had like very specific things that they were craving during their treatment.
Yeah, I think it depends on the time too, because like I was saying before, they give you steroids, and those last about 3 days until it wears off and you feel like complete shit. But yeah, all I wanted the first couple of times was just like the fast food cheeseburgers. I had a cheeseburger every day for 5 days, and that's all I wanted.
Nice.
um, yeah, so that was a huge thing, and the more interesting is the food aversions that you have. Like I couldn't drink water for a while because it just like it would make me throw up, and I couldn't.
Water specifically.
Yeah, water specifically. Out of like a water bottle, I couldn't do that. I'm fine now, clearly, but after my second infusion, I could not drink water,
Hmm.
and out of a straw, couldn't do it. And I had to add like a flavoring to it, or it had to have a certain temperature. You get really, really picky when you're on chemo, and I couldn't eat. I still can't eat soup, and that's a trap. Um, but and I couldn't eat vegetables for a while. It was just so you get very, very picky. It wears off after a little bit, but some things stick. Like soup is not a thing. I can't do Gatorade. I can't do anything like that. So, um, but yeah, those are more interesting than actual cravings. So,
Yeah, that's I had never heard of that. I didn't
did you
not again not that I'm like the most informed person on the subject, but uh
know?
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if your mom mentioned any of those cravings or aversions or not, but that's the really weird part of it. So,
No, she didn't. As far as I know, she didn't have any aversions really. Like I said, she wanted pork chops a lot. That was her like
that's
go-to.
awesome. Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
still remember the one time, like I was saying, she's like, "Do you want me to make you a sandwich or something?" I was like, "No, can I make you something?" She's like, "A pork chop, please." I was like, "Okay."
cute.
Yeah. Um, so as far as you try to uh, remain somewhat positive and kind of have as much fun as you can with your situation, but like in your blog or well, let's say in your blog, are you more open about like when you're really feeling scared or sad or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. occasionally I will, I will let people know. It's because, again, like if there's someone who has to go through this, God forbid, one of my friends, I don't want them to only see the good stuff. There are some days that are really, really difficult, but yeah, in the blog, I'm definitely a lot more open about, like I was afraid of, the election outcome, with my situation and, people that, we'll leave it at that. But like, yeah, I was afraid of the election outcome, and I was afraid of, what might happen afterwards with it, with different groups of people. That was one thing that I was very vocal about. And yeah, and just getting through treatment is scary. And with the stats with my particular one that they have, they're not the greatest, but so yeah, I do talk about that stuff in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hit all the points. Like you said,
Yeah.
you don't want people to think like it's a walk in the park.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
you know, you don't want to go to Walter Reed for 2 days and be like, it's all a hoax. So
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, just kidding. Just kidding.
yeah,
Yes.
don't let it scare you. Don't live your lives in fear.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Just let
Yeah.
it take over.
Oh man. You had a mastectomy, a full mastectomy, right?
Yeah, on the left side. And I don't have the gene, so I don't need to get the other one chopped off, which is good, as far as we know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you like walk a little lopsided now, or
yeah, no,
I'm gonna say
yeah,
hopefully that wasn't too tasteless.
no, I
I'm
don't.
trying to, like I said, I don't want to just get laughs out of cancer, but like you said, sometimes you gotta laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a walk a couple of days ago with Jared, my boyfriend, or a while ago. There was a car that drove by with just the one light on the on the front of it. And I was like, oh look, it's got one headlight too. So
Big
uh,
Wallflowers fan.
it's not huge. No. And there's a house with one window. It's just like that. But yeah, so it was on the left side, completely gone. I don't notice it anymore, to be completely honest. So
That's yeah, and see, I embellished a little bit for my joke because my mom just had a lobectomy, so she didn't have the full procedure. But I think my work mom, who I at my former employer, who also went through breast cancer at about the same time as my mom, same name too, really weird.
that
Um,
is.
yeah, I think she had to do a double mastectomy,
Oof.
so because it was one of those situations where it was very prevalent. Cancer is very prevalent in her family as well. So, um,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
guess it was weird for me to think about like, oh, uh, they're like taking a part of your body. Was that something that like you had to really get over in the beginning? Like,
I may have just repressed it, but to be completely honest, like it's not it. I kind of came to terms with it really quickly. When I met my surgeon, he was like, "Okay, we're doing this next week," and that's not enough. That's not much time at all. So you just have to do it. And thankfully they gave me a whole bunch of amazing drugs when I was there, so I wasn't thinking about it. And yeah, I came to terms with it really quickly. But you do have to look, and you're like, shit, I'm an amputee essentially. And that's weird. Um, but yeah, I don't even notice it anymore, and it didn't take long to get used to it. And you know, and I know it sounds cliche and it sounds stupid, but it is kind of empowering when you're like, oh, this is proof of the shit that you've gone through.
hmm
And I know that sounds stupid and cliche and really cheesy, but it's true. So
no, I mean sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason. It's not. Yeah. Um, I'm sure there are everybody who's in the same situation is probably like, yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I don't think that can be coined as a cliche.
yeah, and some people really do struggle with it, and I'm lucky that I didn't really have much of a second thought. So
You
I
didn't
don't
have
look.
time to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not just like, oh, titty, I miss you. I'm just. It's just. it's not there. No big deal.
Oh man. You have a sense of humor. I really am. Because like, okay, we have never actually like spoken to each other. It's always been like online interactions and stuff like that. But like, you form a friendship with someone, and I was very concerned for you when you made the big announcement and everything, and it was like, just seeing the way you're going through it again. I'm gonna say it again. It's it's inspiring and it's admirable. So, I'm just really glad that you have a sense of humor about it, because it'd be really miserable to watch you just mope all the time. So
Yeah, it would. I agree completely. And I've seen it from other people too, where I'm just like, oh God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they deal with it. I guess they don't, but I'm not saying this is like I'm better or anything like that. I just feel bad. I don't know how to really approach it that way. So
yeah, well, like you said, you didn't have much time to make the decision to do that. So that was kind of your first instinct, or so it seems. I don't want to speak for you, but it's great that that was the way that your mind just clicked into like, well, you got to deal with it, and it wasn't like, oh well, pity me, and oh, the why me, blah, all that stuff, which I'm sure that happened, that came up. I don't think
it
you go through something like cancer and not think like, why me? But
it honestly, like at the beginning is, I stopped drinking. Well, mostly stopped drinking. Before treatment started, but it came out after I would have a few glasses of wine. I'd just be like, oh God, why? But I guess it's pretty normal. So I did that before cancer. So
yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, that's happens when I have a few beers anyway. So
normal Friday night.
yeah. Yeah, especially me. I've living alone, just my cat, who was bothering me earlier. She wanted to stop in for another guest appearance, but
Oh, okay. Wait, Golda?
Golda is my parents' cat,
Okay, okay.
the big fat golden one. Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
Lido is my old cat, my old adopted cat.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Yeah.
kitty. You can hear me in there somewhere.
I wouldn't be like, I have the headphones on, but I wouldn't be. She's over at her food bowl now. That's what she wanted. That's all she ever wants is just food. She doesn't want me at all. Just feed me and give me water, and then I'm gonna throw up somewhere in the house, and you're gonna have to clean it up. That's our relationship.
Yeah, that's like me and my boyfriend. It's the whole thing. So
Nice. He feeds you, and then you go throw up somewhere in the house, and he cleans it up.
pretty much, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm cleaning it up on my own, so that's good.
Grown ass woman. I can clean up my own vomit.
My own vomit, damn it. Um,
So what's in store for you, ahead? You said you have 12 weeks now of another like gentler regimen, and then
yeah,
do you have to do radiation or anything like that?
yeah. So it'll be 12 weeks of weekly of this new stuff coming up on Tuesday, and that should end around late February. And then they'll give me a month off, and then I'll do physical therapy for my arm because I can't move it like I did before. And then I'll do 6 weeks of daily radiation, which should be super fun.
Ooh.
But apparently that's a breeze. So
Okay. And I don't know how that works, because like after the initial conversation that I had with my mom, we didn't really talk about it that much. So I don't really know what she went through 100%.
yeah,
So I don't know, and I guess you don't really know either, because you
I
haven't gone through it yet.
I just haven't really done much research on it because I just hear people say it's not that bad, and I'm like, okay, that's good enough for me. So I don't need to know what terrible thing to expect like I did with chemo. So
Yeah.
it's just like you lay on a table, you put your arm up, they zap you, and you're good to go. So
Hmm.
that doesn't sound as bad.
No, it certainly doesn't. You're not pumping who knows what chemicals into your body to try to. It's a weird concept to me that it's like, we're going to destroy your body to also destroy the thing that's in it, and hopefully we just don't do too much damage to the rest of you while we get rid of this thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that it is pretty. You know, it's and apparently it works though, so that's nice. But yeah, it's this very strange concept, and you know, when you get into like, I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'm just saying when you think about like how the pharmaceutical companies work, and it's like, okay, but apparently it does work. So
Yeah. I mean, we can talk shit on pharmaceutical companies all you want. I mean, that's that could be the sole purpose of this entire podcast, is just talking
yeah,
shit on pharmaceutical companies.
and the healthcare system that we have here, and it gives you a very good, I wouldn't say good actually. It gives you a very in-depth i- perspective on how it works and how it's supposed to work and how it doesn't work, and you become a pro at all this pretty quickly. So
Yeah, how many off? I mean, obviously, you're probably not like keeping. Actually, you might have a schedule, but I don't know what the kind of person you are. Like how many roundabout like doctor's appointments and trips to the hospital or a medical facility do you think you had to make so far?
a lot, and a lot of money too. Yeah, I mean we're talking probably almost like 100 at this point. So and
Wow.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
that's fine. Too. I can get out of the house and go talk to my nurses. It's great. So
Yeah, and I assume the nurses at chemo facilities are probably like some awesome people.
yeah, yeah. The ones that I've encountered have been pretty cool. So that's nice. The facility I go to is they're pretty neat. They've all got really cool lives. I mean, well, not right now, but they've got, you know, interesting hobbies, and you know, you talk for a long time when you're sitting there in the chair. So yeah, it's been nice. Um, Another nice thing about this year has been getting to know people like that.
Did you make any friends with like other patients? Did you have other people in the room with you who were going through the same
Not
thing?
really. I'm the youngest by like 30 years usually. So you've got like, you know, these geriatric um, Armenian people in there with, you know, that just sleep the whole time, and I'm like on Instagram, just like, hey, and they're asleep. You know, it's so no to answer your question.
No, you didn't make friends with any Armenian grandmas.
I wish, not yet.
Get yourself a white BMW. Fit
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That was a little racist. I'm sorry, listeners. That was a
It's
little xenophobic, I guess would be the term.
no, they'll be the, you know, they're the first to admit it. So
Hey, just like cliches, sometimes stereotypes are true too.
yeah,
Like every single stereotype about white people, right
it's
here.
true.
So yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah.
Where are we at on time here? I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not on top of my game. But we're doing good. Nice. We're almost at an hour already.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So let's see, we covered what's coming up ahead. We covered what happened before. Um I'm hoping that people got something out of this at least. Just because yeah, you know, it's one of those things, like you said, other people are going to have to experience it. So hopefully they
Yeah.
can gain every perspective that's out there, which includes yours, because you've now been going through it. You're going to have been gone through it.
Yeah.
And and yeah, I just think that's a really important message to get out to someone, you know, whoever's going through, whoever has a message to get out. I think it's important to tell people's stories.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if having someone's blog or whatever to look at when I was first diagnosed was so tremendously helpful. And you know, my doctor was even saying, like, he's unfortunately one of your friends is going to go through this one day, which is a terrifying statement. But you know, he read my blog and he was like, it's, you know, it's probably going to help someone. So just keep doing what you're doing. So hopefully somewhere in here people will feel the same way.
Yeah, and if one of your friends does end up going through it, down the road, you can be like, hey, 30 fucking years ago, I did the same thing. So,
Now just, give you a shot and you're fine. So
right. But yeah, you could end up being one of those people that you look at now where you're like, oh, they're 15 years removed and they're still going strong. You can be that person that someone looks at, says
I
the same thing.
fucking hope so. The goal.
Okay, well, we can go ahead and wrap it up. I think we got some good storytelling out there. Your what was I've it's gone from the top of my head now. Your blog is called
A Most Inconvenient Cancer. It's on Blogspot.
okay. Send me a link and I'll share it in the description of the YouTube video, and we'll try to generate some traffic for you so we can exploit you a little more.
Sounds good to me. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on and talking to me for a little bit. It was nice to actually say words to you.
I know, it's nice. It's cool.
Yeah. Maybe when you're through the whole saga, we'll have you back and you can tell us how fucking easy it all was, Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Listener, thank you for tuning in. This has been Human Interaction. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. That is my guest, Ciarra Nicole Johnston, and she's going to kick cancer's ass.
Let's hope so. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, and tune in next time, listener. We'll talk to you later.